Well, we got the wicked and weak ending. What about Love Lost?
Sweetie.
Daddy? I love my daddy.
You'll be careful,
Well, this is definitely
Sure.
different.
Harry.
We've said enough. Let's just... Sweetie, don't film this. You know this has nothing to do with you, right? Even though Mom and Dad don't love each other anymore, we both love you. And we always will. Now, come on.
That was sad, but probably not as bad as the abusive family ending. Next, we have the Sleaze and Sirens ending.
Daddy?
And yes, I am letting this play a little bit at least each time, just so we can properly segue into the new clip.
I love my daddy.
Action.
Oh boy.
Come on then, girls. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Michelle, and I'm Midwich High's prom queen.
Wow.
And our next star?
I'm Lisa. I'm a nurse.
Why are we filming this? Why are we
And
here?
I'm Harry Mason, famous author and seducer of prom queens and nurses.
This is
Can
bad.
it be in your next book?
Sure.
Can you dedicate it to us?
No, dedications are always to my wife and daughter. It's only fair.
Ugh. Wow. That is terrible. I hesitate to do this next one because it's called Drunk Dad. This is seriously gonna hurt to watch. That was too good for words.
Daddy.
Oh
What are you
god.
filming me for? Am I supposed to dance for you? Be a good girl for Daddy. Go get him another drink, will you? Now, give me a damn beer.
Wow.
No wonder I drink with a family like this.
God damn! You know what that means. At best, we had a sad ending with a divorce. At the absolute best. Then we had trauma, dad flirting around and cheating, or hating his family. There's no good ending to this game. Please tell me the UFO ending's better.
This is it? After all we've said, all we've discussed, you honestly believe that your father was abducted by aliens? It made more sense when you were talking about cults and demons.
Nice.
This whole town, it's really a giant spaceship.
The whole town?
James,
Nice.
Long day again?
see you tomorrow, James.
Brilliant.
One of my couples therapy patients. Haven't seen his wife in a while. Where were we?
My mother was a bitch.
I'm the dog?
Go on. I'm listening.
What? That was too good for words. Well, there you have it. We have concluded Silent Hill Shattered Memories, and in doing so, at least until Downpour comes out, we have concluded the Silent Hill saga. We've gone through 7 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, Origins, Homecoming, and Shattered Memories, and it's very appropriate that we end with Shattered Memories, as we've come full circle. We've gone from Silent Hill 1 to a retelling of Silent Hill 1. What did I think of the game? I'll be honest. For the first 4, maybe even 5 installments, I did not like it. Like, at all. I found the non-nightmare sections to be boring, because there was guaranteed to be no threats, and it was just looking for clues and trying to find out which doors work and navigating the map and being boring. And the nightmare sections were frustrating because it was run until you find the exit, and the map is almost useless because the scenery changes and there's walls everywhere that do not appear on the map, and it was just a royal pain in the ass. But I will say that once I got to the part where I was riding in the car with Dahlia, maybe even a little before that, and especially once we completed the control tower portion and fell into the water, the game really, really picked up. Like, I started loving it. And even the non-nightmare portion got legitimately creepy on its own. From, again, the car, to little things we would see, little hints of the past, things like that. The echoes got a little, I don't know, they started to resonate a little more with me. And the nightmare sections weren't as big of a pain in the ass as, like, the woods. The hospital wasn't bad at all. The amusement park was alright. It wasn't too bad. Or not the amusement park, the mall. It wasn't as bad. And really, I get the feeling that it's the same thing with this game as I experienced with Homecoming. With Homecoming, the first couple of installments were a bit frustrating to me, mainly because of the combat. And once I learned how the combat worked, the game got a lot more playable for me. In this case, once I really started to appreciate how the game worked and really get it through my head that it's not a traditional survival horror game, it got a lot more fun, really. I get the feeling if I played the first part of the game again, I would enjoy it a lot more. And even from the beginning, though, I loved the psychological aspects of it. Absolutely brilliant. And you know what, speaking of all that, how about that revelation that we were Cheryl? What do you think about that? That was a pretty sweet twist. And you know what? Once again, with 2020 hindsight, once we beat the game, it actually makes a lot of sense. We were getting all sorts of hints during gameplay that we were Cheryl. It's just we couldn't possibly know that because we were playing as Harry, which of course ended up being an aspect of Cheryl's imagination. It's kind of funny. We got that call from young Cheryl telling us to stop and go back, and I had wondered if that was an attempt to preserve Harry's, well, to save Harry. In essence, it was. It was to preserve Heather's image of Harry, Cheryl's image of Harry, Cheryl Heather Mason, and in a sense, it was an attempt to preserve Cheryl's own mind, really. See, the thing is, clearly Cheryl has daddy issues. He's the one thing she thinks about, like, all the goddamn time. Even from the start of the game, Kaufman mentioned we were just looping family video, and that's what the opening credits were. We didn't know it at the time, but we were, Cheryl, watching the clip, rewinding, watching the clip again, rewinding, watching the clip again, to see if we could get anything new out of it. And of course we didn't know this at the time, so it just looked like strange credits, but now we see. It was Cheryl being troubled, and now the opening credits will be depressing to me from now on. And she was trying to glean through that footage anything new about her father. I guess she must have thought, I want my father so badly, what must he be doing right now? Well, we were having a good time in the amusement park, he must be really looking for me. And so we did, in Cheryl's mind, going through all sorts of characters and trials and tribulations to try to find our little girl. Really, once again, rather sad once you think about it. But there were little hints that we needed to wake up. One of the more obvious ones being the car crash at the end of the game under the water. No, yeah, you really are dead. You're not Harry Mason. And you'll notice, by the way, we got texts from Cheryl, after Cheryl, Dahlia, and Sybil at the end of the game, both telling us to go back. Once again, clearly young Cheryl didn't do it, so let's try different sources. Sybil being the voice of reason, and Dahlia being an attempt to, I guess, hook Harry within Cheryl's head. So when one voice didn't work, we tried another. It was really all Cheryl's sort of unconscious self-defense mechanism. But what was it defending against? Well, the answer is quite simple once you've seen the endings of the game. The truth. She has this glowing image of her father. And what does the truth reveal? Well, the endings aren't canon, so it's really up to you to determine which one is real, if any. One of the endings has Harry loving us, but not the wife. That is, not loving his wife. One of the endings has Harry being abused, and not a figure you really look up to. The ending I got. One of them has Harry being a drunk bastard who hates his family. Definitely wouldn't want to realize that. That would really, really hurt if I had watched that one during the playthrough. And one of them was Harry very obviously cheating on his wife and not caring about his daughter, even though his daughter's filming the damn thing. Cheryl was, in a sense, trying to save Harry. That is, her image of Harry. and therefore her own mind, because reality sucked. Like, straight up. Reality was terrible. So Cheryl's mind was trying to convince her to stop playing and to continue living in a world of confusion, because confusion is better than knowing something that is horrible, horrible, horrible. Of course, that might have been the game's perspective. Your own perspective may be different. Some people value the truth more than anything. Apparently, Cheryl's unconscious did not. And speaking of all that, the Nightmare World, not Rusty, not Hell, it was frozen. That actually makes a kind of sense once you get further into the game and you see the characters freezing up as well. Number one, it actually really worked. The aesthetic made sense. I felt that it worked. I didn't really have any complaints about the ice. But also, notice another self-defense mechanism. Whenever we started to get hints of information, Sybil. Oh, I looked up your file, like the file on Harry Mason. Freeze. Dahlia. Hey, I'm your wife. Freeze. It just got to the point where anytime we'd get a bit of information, we would lock up. And I suspect that's once again Cheryl's mind saying, you're getting a little too close, better quit while you're ahead. And of course we had to keep pushing it until we came to our sad, sad conclusion. We did have a good farewell to Harry, live your own life, forget about me, so Cheryl can kind of move on her own now. There is that advantage, but still, she had to face reality before that point, and that just was awful. And you know what's interesting? The game pulled a Silent Hill 2. Although Silent Hill 2 did it more. Remember how Pyramid Head kept killing Maria over and over, and Maria looks like James's wife? And it's like, oh, wait a second. For the third time, now that you've shown me 3 times, now I get it. This game sort of did that. Michelle was Maria, and John, her boyfriend, was Pyramid Head. Although they only acted once, John dumped her right in front of Harry. What the hell was that about? And why did we have to be there to see that? And why would it be in Cheryl's head? What sense could that make? Well, it was a parallel to our own situation. It seems that Dahlia and Harry had a divorce. I mean, even in the real Silent Hill game, not the real ones, the numbered Silent Hill games, Heather had grown up without a mother, it always seemed. Could that have been because of a divorce? Maybe. Harry's wife isn't in Silent Hill 1. I forgot if she died or not. Bad memory on my part. But if you get the good ending of the game where you bring the baby out of hell, if you start the game over, you get to see Sybil with Harry, instead of Harry's wife with Harry, implying that Sybil helped raise the child. Where did Sybil go after that? Hell if I know, maybe she died, or maybe they did divorce. I don't know. All we know is that Heather grew up with Harry only. Meanwhile, in terms of the game's endings, I do feel that it's safe to say that a divorce happened. Whether or not you consider the love-lost ending, the divorce ending, canon. Why? Well, when Harry's very obviously cheating on his wife, when Harry's a drunk bastard who hates his wife, or when the wife despises Harry with all of her fiber of her being, I can believe that would lead to divorce very quickly, so I don't think it's much of a stretch to say that eventually Harry would have broken up with his wife. Of course, Harry died when Heather was 7, and Silent Hill 3, Harry died when Heather was in her late teens, because he was murdered at home. So this is an alternate reality, Shattered Memories. But even so, it does give you a lot of perspective into Cheryl's, perhaps Cheryl's younger life. One thing I also found intriguing is that characters change based on your psychology. We got that part down. But what I found interesting is I suspect the echoes change. The echoes being the text messages or voicemails you receive. And the way I figured this out was, it was really bugging me whenever I would get a voicemail echo, because I always wondered what the hell the point was. We have a girl and a guy whose relationship isn't working at the school. Who gives a damn? We have parents and a daughter, and the parents are yelling at each other. Why should I even attempt to care? Well, as Harry, it makes no sense. But now that you realize we're Cheryl, it turns out that the girl in those echoes was Cheryl every single time. How do I know this? Well, we got the idea with the parents yelling at each other with the little girl at the amusement park. That's like the opening of the game right there. But what really clued me in was when I remembered at Midwich High, that one guy who was getting bothered that his girlfriend wouldn't put out. And of course the game is saying that I'm sexually repressed and not getting enough. Thank you, Kaufman. So I guess that would have implications with Cheryl. Cheryl is very sexually uptight, so she wasn't putting out. I really do get the feeling that if we were a, quote, slut, thanks again, Kaufman, in our sexual profile, I bet you anything that the girl in that voicemail conversation would have been a lot more promiscuous. Let's be kind here. A lot more promiscuous with whoever that guy was she was with. It really is cool once you understand the game is all about you. It's just that you couldn't know because you've been using someone else's avatar. Brilliant concept. Now, all that crazy analysis aside, I really did have fun with this game, especially once I started to appreciate it. Which means that I've had fun with every Silent Hill game. Even the ones that are not talked about as much, Origins and Homecoming. People give those games crap, but they do have positive qualities that not so many people talk about. I had fun with those games, legitimately, and I enjoyed this game as well. And again, especially toward the end, where it started to get legitimately creepy. Very well done. I'm overusing the word legitimately. So, I really had a blast playing through the series. I hope you had half as much fun as I did watching it, as I did playing it. This was a fantastic experience for me. It's been over a year now. I started recording Silent Hill on the PC last year, at the time of this recording, of course. And I wasn't able to do Origins because I, at the time, didn't have console footage, or console recording abilities. Now I do, and I could finally close this chapter on this, or close the book, you know what I mean? Fill the hole, plug the gap, shut up. On this long, set aside goal of mine. So I finally feel complete in this regard. It's really great. And also, thank you so much for putting up with my atrocious sense of direction. Honestly, my sense of direction is okay in games, but for Silent Hill, it is just abominable, and I don't even really know why. I actually got comments about it in my Silent Hill 3 and Homecoming Let's Plays. It's like, dude, seriously. Like, this is ridiculous, even for you. Although, I will say, with Shattered Memories, you gotta cut me a little bit of slack, because the map was only so good in this game. It didn't show you which doors worked and which didn't, although frankly most did, but it didn't cover the walls that would really interfere with you, because your GPS doesn't show that. Oh, speaking of which, one more bit of analysis here. I was kind of bothered that we're using a modern 2000, I think this game came out in 2009 or 10, GPS phone, like smartphone, when all the technology around us is from the 90s, with like CRT TVs and monitors and things like that. It looked ridiculous. But now we know, we're Cheryl, who we would have the phone. We may be playing as Harry, but we're navigating the way we would navigate, the way we grew up with. So it would be a smartphone. Meanwhile, Harry, all he sees is things that he would have seen, old technology that we really don't know what it is. Once again, well done, Shattered Memories. That was subtle, very subtle, which is why I like it. You're not spitting it in our faces. But I digress. Once again, thank you so much for putting up with my atrocious sense of direction, although again, cut me a bit of slack for Shattered Memories. And of course, thank you all for watching. And I would like to give special thanks to the people who submitted title cards to me in order of submission and therefore order of appearance. Kachek's Party, Sonic Chica, and Jack Frost, you did fantastic jobs once again. Thank you so much. And one more time, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my Silent Hill Let's Plays. And I'm not 100% sure of what my next thing is going to be. Both things that I'm considering depend on hardware things that I have to overcome. Hopefully I'm able to do that. I should be able to, but I don't want to commit in case I can't. So I'll just say, if all things work out, that would be great. I think I know what I'll do after that. That said, at least for now, until Downpour comes out, and you better believe I'm going to play that when it does, we have concluded our Silent Hill saga. And it feels awesome. These games are great, and they left a great impression. Until next time, everyone.